It's all okay.
Okay guys, welcome back to another live stream. Today we force the transparency on an industry that survives off of secrecy. We're going to tell you things and show you things today that the industries do everything possible to keep from you. They don't want you to see them, they don't want you to hear them, they don't want you to know about them. There's a reason. And stay tuned to this live stream because you're going to see it unfold real time as we are live here today outside of a slaughterhouse. This slaughterhouse is in the UK. It's an ABP slaughterhouse. It's Sturminster. And this actual slaughterhouse behind us was investigated by Animal Aid. You can go to animalaid.org.uk/investigations and you can go and see in 2010 the investigation done by Animal Aid along with other investigations that they've done all through the UK at slaughterhouses. So you can see this isn't just a case of this is a bad place. It's systemic violence and it needs to stop and it needs to end. Two disclaimers for our live stream today. Our first one is that we're not here to cause alarm, harassment, distress or any form of intimidation. We're here under our right to peacefully protest, under our right to freedom of speech and public assembly. Our second disclaimer is that we are not here to clash with non-vegans, to point fingers at you and say you're a bad person for not being vegan. We weren't all born vegan. We didn't know, but now we do. And this is why we're here. We want to come alongside you, like what Mel says, as your friends, to come alongside you and say, listen, you're probably a good person, but did you know that this happens to animals in these industries? And we're going to talk about various industries throughout the live stream, bringing to light what happens in the darkness. We're going to talk about the fashion industry, we're going to talk about the racing industries, the entertainment industries, we're going to talk about animal testing, and we're also going to talk about animals who are exploited for their secretions and their bodies. As you come into this live stream, please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan already. Please subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. And we truly appreciate non-vegans being in here and listening. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Please like, share, and subscribe. Now, one thing that's really apparent every time you come to this particular slaughterhouse is you see small holding trucks and factory farm trucks turning up at the very same location. Anyone who thinks that we just go to a small, local, organic, free-range farm and take comfort in all their marketing terms, well, today you're going to see that unfold because the same person with the same knife in the same slaughterhouse kills them cows from the high welfare farms and the small range and the local and the organic, as well as the big factory farms. This is why we're not here today for rights. We're not here today for welfare. We're here for rights. We're not asking for better conditions on farmed animals and animals in industries that exploit them. We're here today to say these animals need to be left alone. They should have the right to their bodily autonomy and the right to their life. It's as simple as that. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations. Thank you non-vegans for being here. Please put your questions in the live stream chat. We're going to get around to answering all of them. Please subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap this live stream. Like, share on all your socials. Now also, in today's live stream, if you hit the top 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, you can go into the description of this live stream. In that description, there is a Linktree link, and that Linktree link will take you to our Linktree link, where you can watch Dominion and Pignorant, 2 of the most important documentaries for anyone to see. And then at the bottom of that Linktree link, there is Help to Go Vegan by John the Bodybuilding Vegan and the Vegan Squad. There are free resources, free downloads, free PDFs. Please go and click on that link. Go and check out them resources. Everyone who watches Dominion and Pignorant, the one thing they say is, I wish that I saw this earlier. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. We're live today outside of a slaughterhouse to bring you the reality and the truth as to what happens inside these facilities. This slaughterhouse here kills cows. They kill cows from the meat industry and cows from the dairy industry. 2 different breeds. Cows. Everyone thinks that cows just eat grass and just produce milk. Well, the reality is that the only reason why cows produce milk is because they're mums.
Oh, absolutely stinks.
It smells so bad here.
All we've heard this morning is little cries from these poor cows. Kelly Stockwell's here, she's saying we need meat. Why
do you think we need meat, Kelly? What is it with meat or with animal flesh that you think that we need? No judgment. I just want to know what you think. A lot of people say we need this, but what is it that you think that you need? Put it in the chat.
Yeah, and then she put Kelly put protein.
Okay, Kelly, thank you, Kelly, for being here. Now listen, Kelly's comments are 2 of the most common comments. We need this and protein though. Now listen, all protein comes from plants. It comes from the amino acids in the soil during photosynthesis. So the most purest form of protein comes from plants. Soy, tempeh, tofu, legumes, lentils, chickpeas, etc., etc., etc. So we need protein, but you don't need animal bodies or secretions. So you can select the ingredients.
We've also got Panther Paws saying they eat grass and produce milk, nothing more.
Absolutely not. Panther Paws, this is what the industry want you to believe, and I'm going to explain it again after you put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations, subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, if being kind to animals trigger you. Now, a lot of people think that cows eat grass and produce milk. Cows are mammals. Cows are mothers. The only reason why they produce breast milk is for their babies. They force pregnancies on them, they kidnap their babies, and when they can neither produce a baby or enough milk, they get sent to the very slaughterhouse that I'm stood right outside of right now. This is the dairy industry. The dairy industry and the egg industry are dressed up as if it's like something miraculous. It's spectacular. Who just eats grass and produces milk? Cows are mammals, they are mums. Go into the link in the description, go to the top 3 dots, description link, top link, and watch Dominion. It's a documentary at the top, and it will explain the dairy industry, it will explain the meat industry, it will explain the 2 different breeds of cows. One exploited for their body parts, they're growing super big, super quick. One exploited for her breast milk. She's genetically modified to produce so much milk. They actually shackle cows' legs so they don't fall over because they produce so much milk.
Yeah, guys, it absolutely stinks. The smell gets down your throat, and it's like sometimes like
it's like metallic-y, like, oh, it just catches my breath every time.
I just want to say what's up, Taiwan Animal Protection, vegan multitaskers are in the house as well.
Hey guys.
Logan Cadle, and we got that crazy AV geek put, does this guy know how farming works?
Yes, I know how farming works. So I investigated farms with Mel. We go and see it for ourselves, and we're outside the slaughterhouses live, bringing you the reality of what happens. Listen, we're not here saying that farming could be done better. We're here saying that animals should have the right to their own life. This is why we're outside of a slaughterhouse. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. We're not asking for bigger cages, greener grass, and sharper knives. We're saying leave animals alone. Animals should have the right to their bodily autonomy and the right to their life. I'm just looking to the sides, guys, because there's a lot of trucks coming in here. This time in the morning is when all the animals come in predominantly, so we're going to make sure that you see them. Our objective here today is to get you to connect with these animals, right? When people see animals going inside slaughterhouses, when people see the eyes, the ears, the nose, they hear the bellows, they hear the cries of mercy, it's different to when you go to the supermarket and you see a little circular disc of their flesh and called a burger. It's different when you see a little sausage shape called a sausage. That was someone who screamed for their life instead of a slaughterhouse. Yeah. And when you're here and you see them going in, it's different. You connect with them. You see the individual. You don't see the product. And this is what the industry have done. They've removed the communication or the connection between animals and these products, because when good people actually connect, they don't want to pay for it anymore. This is what we're saying. You can get all the same taste pleasure, all the same enjoyment out of your life, but you can get the vegan version and you don't have to be responsible for the violence towards these animals.
Kelly just put, what about eggs as well?
Kelly, thank you so much. Kelly, you're dropping some amazing questions in the chat. Really appreciate you being here. Yeah. Let me explain the egg industry. First of all, subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if being kind to animals triggers you. Please double tap the live stream. Let's get over 50 likes as fast as possible before the first truck comes. Now, Kelly, the egg industry, let me give you the egg industry in 60 seconds. It starts with parent breeder sheds, males and female chickens in a big barn, and they're just left to it to fertilize the eggs. Chickens die all over the place in these barns. There's dead chickens everywhere. It's a very violent place. It's very stressful for the chickens. That's just the parent breeder shed. Now, the fertilized eggs then get taken to a hatchery where they're hatched. When they hatch, they're sexed male and female. Now, the males are a slightly different color yellow to the females. So all the males are classed as a waste product. They get sent to a blender, thrown into a blender. They call it a macerator so it doesn't sound so bad, but they blend the male chicks up alive on the first day of life once they've been hatched. Them little tiny yellow chicks everyone loves at Easter time, right? Now, the females will then go off to different industries that exploit them. They may go to open barns, they may go to cage barns. By the way, open barns is just a marketing term for the consumer. You still got 15,000 chickens in one big barn, just shoved in there, fighting for their life. And at 18 months, when they can no longer produce enough eggs, they get sent to a gas chamber. Now, these chickens have been selectively bred to to lay so many eggs. They should be laying 12 to 15 eggs a year. They're laying in excess of 300, nearly an egg a day. And when they can no longer keep up with that demand, when their bodies can't keep going, they get sent to gas chambers. Egg-laying hens and chickens who eat, again, 2 different breeds of chicken, they both go to gas chambers here in the UK.
We've got Cog Rider here, but can you tell me how cows get slaughtered?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. Subscribe on 1 if you're vegan, subscribe on 2 if you're not vegan, subscribe on 3 if you're anti-vegan. Now, the most common way that they slaughter cows is they go from a layerage, which is a holding area, onto a kill floor. They go to a nose to tail system, so they go down single file. They go into what's known as a knock box or a stun box. They basically, imagine this box here, 3 sides. They slide this side up, the cow walks forward, and then they slide the door down behind them. So they're effectively in a big metal box where they cannot turn around, they cannot move forward, backward, or evade. They then put a bolt gun in the middle of their head. It's a captive bolt gun, and they shoot them in the middle of the head here. Now, what they'll tell you is, this kills the animal, and it means that, oh my God, the smell, wait 1 second. Oh, this kills the animal, and they don't feel any pain. The reason why they bolt gun them in the head is to drop them to the floor long enough to put a shackle around their back legs and hoist them up into the air. Then once the cow's up in the air by 1 leg, then they can slash their throat open. Going towards a huge, strong animal like a cow with a knife who's trying to evade you and fight for their life is risky for the person trying to kill them. This is why they bolt gun them, to incapacitate them long enough to slash their throat and stab them to death. That's what's going to happen to cows. Cows in the meat industry, cows in the dairy industry, but there is an additional thing that they don't want you to know about with dairy cows. I'm going to tell you after you subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe and 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, and double tap the live stream. Did you know that 20% of dairy cows go to the slaughterhouse pregnant? Did you know they cut their babies out of their stomachs and allow their babies to suffocate on the floor, in the kill floor?
Yeah, for 20 minutes.
Because,
for 20 minutes. Sorry,
no,
finish
you're
that.
good.
Yeah, and if they're small enough, what they do is they'll cut the stomach of the mother who is hang up by her leg, bleeding out. They'll take the sac out, the embryo sac with the baby in, cut the sac open, and then they'll pick up their back legs and smash them on the floor as well. That's what we've seen as well. I've just witnessed there a grown man with his child, his little girl in the front, swearing at us because we're standing up for animals. What a pathetic man, baby. Don't be a pathetic man, baby. Be a number 1. If you're number 2, you just be open-minded enough to think, maybe I didn't know this industry. I didn't know what happens in these industries. And be a number 1. Subscribe. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, comment and subscribe. Animals are inside this place behind me. It's a slaughterhouse. It's an absolute evil place of torture, mutilation, murder. It's disgusting, and they should be abolished. They should be banned, and they should be extinct. Every animal farmer, slaughterhouse worker, every single person who experiments or uses animals should be extinct. They don't belong in this world.
Kelly thinks that crop deaths is a justification to keep putting animals inside gas chambers.
Kelly, you had some actual genuine questions, and I'm really sad to see that you let yourself slip on the crop death things. Basically, crop deaths happen, yeah, but that's nothing to do with veganism. That's nothing to do with the ethical stance against the use and exploitation of animals. Yeah, it's sad that there's some crop deaths, but by you being vegan causes the least amount of crop deaths, because vegans eat the least amount of plants. Because right now there are 2 trillion animals being forced into existence every single year who eat plants, Kelly, okay? That's like this much, okay? There's only 9 billion people on the planet, which is like this much, okay? So if we got rid of animal agriculture, we'd actually free up 75% of the world's farmland and rewild, and we'll be able to feed everybody. We'll solve world hunger. Okay, it's so selfish to not be vegan. It's so greedy to not be vegan. If you're a number 2 and you just don't know any better, that's not your fault. But once you know better, you flip and well do better and you go number 1. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, and double tap the live stream, like, share, comment, and please subscribe. I'm outside a slaughterhouse today. And I'm outside slaughterhouses every single week, and we have been outside these places for over a year. We've been outside gas chambers. Did you know in the UK and across the world there are CO2 gas chambers where they burn little baby piglets from the inside out, 6 months old. When you say bacon, what you're saying is a baby piglet who was forced into existence, taken away from their mother, had their tails cut off, had their teeth ground down, had their genitals ripped from them, with no anaesthetic or painkiller, by the way, and then at 6 months old they get forced into a truck, which from these exploitation camps that some people call farms, but they are exploitation camps. Then they get taken to a gas chamber where they burn from the inside out. Go to the link in the description and watch Pignorant and see for yourself. Our friend Joey Carvstrong put the cameras inside the gas chambers here in the UK as a world first expose. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live, like, share and comment. Stay on this live stream. This live stream is a life and death live stream, okay?
Disney Chipper, how do you know all this happens? Where can they go and see it if they want to see it for themselves?
Yeah, go to a link in the description and watch Dominion. See for yourself when cameras were literally just put in raw footage and shown to the world. And you can also see all the standard practice from like DEFRA, RSPCA and all the other practices as well.
So Chicky put, animals are killed humanely in England. Have you ever been inside a slaughterhouse?
Yeah, we have. And the thing is, you've been fooled by the word humane. Okay, you've been mugged off by the industry and you've believed their lies. How can you humanely stab somebody in the throat? How do you humanely mutilate somebody? How do you humanely force someone into a gas chamber? How do you humanely murder? You don't, but they say words like humane slaughter because they're trying to make you feel better about paying for absolute violence and evil towards the most innocent beings on the planet. What about if Jeffrey Dahmer came into your house and killed you and your family humanely at night time? You didn't feel anything. It's still murder. It's absolute murder and it's wrong. These animals are like children. They deserve protection and they need us to protect them. It's so sad that they need rights protecting them against our species. Why can't we just be naturally kind? Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, comment and subscribe.
Will Scoots put, actually you pay after they're dead. Maybe explain supply and demand.
Yeah, so supply and demand. So basically, if I have a business and I'm selling oranges and apples, and you're the consumer, right? And you only want oranges, I won't grow any more apples, and I'll get rid of the apples and I'll just sell oranges. So right now, as a non-vegan, you're demanding animal products, meat, eggs, dairy, fish, leather, wool, and things tested on animals. So the business owner is going to keep selling that to you because you're demanding that personally. When your demand stops, they don't force these animals into existence to keep up with your personal demand.
We're keep your head on a swivel. We've got a super thanks to come back and address from Rie Toons as well. I think that this is about to, yeah.
Yeah, okay guys, so I call these trucks concentration camp trucks from these exploitation camps. This truck here is a truck that had cows on today that is coming out empty, okay? Coming out empty, but it had living individuals on. Why? Why? How could you? How could you? It's so evil. This truck had living individuals on today. This truck here, okay? Individuals who wanted to live, who are like children. They want to live just like you and I. They have a conscience, they have a central nervous system, they have a brain, they can feel pain, and they've left them inside this evil place to kill them. Inside this evil place where they're going to be stabbed in the throat. Every animal that you consume is a baby who was stabbed in the throat. No matter if it's halal, kosher, standard, it's all the same.
Okay, so we got a super thanks from Rie Toons. So hopefully I've said that right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the super thanks. Their comment was, even if I eat meat, I care and I wanted to support. So they wanted to support us by giving us a super thanks. They care, but at the moment they eat animals. So maybe this is someone who just needs help connecting.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now you're living in hypocrisy, and I was as well, by the way, so I'm not judging you. For 26 years of my life, I was number 2. I didn't know what happened to animals. I didn't understand. But when I saw inside a slaughterhouse and I saw a mother cow from the dairy industry having her throat slashed open again and again, it broke my heart. But it broke my heart, and then I become angry because I was like, how dare these industries lie to us? They've lied to me, they lied to you. And that's why you're saying you care, but you're just a cognitive dissonance right now. You are disconnected from the victim. But please go to the link in the description and see for yourself. Watch the individuals for yourself, because this is a matter of urgency. You can't love animals and consume them too. You can't love animals and commodify them.
Disgusting.
Why would you do this?
Disgusting.
Shameful.
Shame on you.
How do you live with yourself? How do
Shame
you live
on
with
you.
yourself? You're
Scumbag.
disgusting. Disgusting. Look, was filled with animals. Look at that number plate. Moo.
Moo on the
Even
back.
mocking them. In my opinion, they're
Disgusting.
concentration camp trucks. And then they're mocking the animals as well. Absolutely vile industry. This needs to be abolished. The only way animals will have liberation and freedom is by people taking accountability of their own actions and living vegan immediately. If you care, If you care about animals and you're a number 2, you just don't understand it. It's not your fault, but you have the chance to change now and save animals today.
Yeah,
literally
absolutely.
today. The power is on you.
Look, I keep seeing a lot of comments in there about religion. Now, no religion mandates that you have to exploit and hurt animals, okay? So you can have any faith that you like. You can be Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Rastafarian, whatever you want. Pick any religion, pick any faith, and you can also be vegan. So don't use a justification of my religion says that I can be violent to animals. You don't have to. So the onus still comes back on you. Take ownership of that decision. Just because you're trying to crowbar and leverage certain passages from certain religions to basically fulfill your desires or your selfish wants is absolutely disgusting behavior to do that. I know Christians who are vegan, I know Muslims who are vegan, I know various amounts of religious people who have different faiths who are vegan. So stop trying to use God said I can as a justification to continue to perpetuate violence towards these animals. Now we are here live outside of a slaughterhouse. That person was coming in and then they turned away.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I thought that was weird.
We're live outside of a slaughterhouse to bring what happens in real time to animals to you where you are right now. We're trying to undo years and years and years of indoctrination and conditioning. We're trying to show you the reality and the truth that these industries pay billions of pounds to hide. They don't want you to see this. They don't want you to see the animals coming in. Watch how hard this industry works when the animals come in. Now listen, this guy who's in the security booth, right, most of the time he sits inside there. The animals turn up, he wanders out, undoes the gate and lets them in. Whenever activists turn up to slaughterhouses, these security guards have to be right on the gate and they have to open and close the gate and get the animals in as fast as possible. Ask yourself why. In an industry that's priding itself on transparency, humane, ethical, best standard, all the other marketing pictures you want to put on them, why is there so much secrecy surrounding it? Surely, if everything was okay, when we turn up with cameras, they'd be like, yep, please film.
Aubrey's back again. They put, hey, it's me again. I said I'd come to every live and I'm keeping my promise. Thank you for protecting the animals. I love you guys. You're awesome. So Aubrey went vegan recently, didn't they?
Yeah, Aubrey, welcome back. I'm just watching behind Mel, real suspicious. That driver came in, was going to come in, turn around, and he's just now spun round and gone back. Weird stuff always happens outside slaughterhouses. It's never like normal, whatever. This is why our heads are on a swivel at all times. Now listen, why are we here today? We're here to defend the animals. We're here to use our voice and our freedom to connect you with them. We're not here to clash on non-vegans. We're here to defend the animals. Sometimes it may feel like we're clashing because we're very firm and we speak with intent, because actually for the animals, it's very serious. Today, they're going to be killed. Their lives are going to be taken from them. Everything taken from them from an optional product. This does not need to happen. When there's no necessity, there is no justification. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan and you've already removed your personal accountability for being violent towards animals. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan yet, but you're open-minded, you're listening to while we're here, and we really appreciate you being in this live stream and listening. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if being kind to mother cows triggers you so much that you have to put meat emojis in that comment section. Please double tap the live stream. Please like and share on all your socials. Let's get the likes up as fast as possible when animals come in here. We need a big room full of people to see them. And please go into the top 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, go into the description of this live stream, click on the Linktree link, and Dominion is the very first documentary that is there for you to watch.
What would you say to Kelly, who thinks veganism is an ethical privilege restricted by where you live in the world?
It's not an ethical privilege, not at all. It's an ethical principle. It should be a baseline. It should be a moral and ethical baseline, the same as being anti-racist, anti-sexist, anti-ableist. You should not be speciesist towards animals just because you're a different species, the same as we shouldn't be racist towards a different race because of the way they look. It's not a privilege at all, and in fact, I think that we have a moral obligation to help anyone around the world that can't get food to source it and get it food to them. There is no justification for hunting, there's no justification for fishing, there's no justification for exploiting animals for clothes. We can sort all these issues out, but at the moment, when we can't stop farmers forcing pregnancies on animals, kidnapping their babies and putting them inside gas chambers, how are we ever going to morally solve these other logistical issues? Because no one's on the same page yet. We don't have the system change. We don't have that evolution of actually, yeah, we shouldn't be speciesist. We should actually morally consider animals. Now what do we do about getting food to everyone around the world, which would be the easiest thing to solve ever?
Yeah, they'd actually take plants from the poorer countries to feed to the animals.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Will Scoop comparing racism to cows is crazy.
No, it's not. What's crazy is not understanding it.
Yeah.
It's simple to explain it. It's not crazy to explain it. It's crazy to not understand it. I'll slow down and explain it a little bit more. But subscribe at 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open-minded. Subscribe at 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Now listen, racism. It's oppressing a different group because of their race. We treat them different. We may enslave them. We may take away some privileges. Whatever. It's oppression to that individual based on their race. Okay? Speciesism is oppression to that individual based on their species. We take what we want from them, we may enslave them, we may do whatever we want with them. The injustice for the individual is identical. We're just changing it from race to species, but the injustice is the same. So what's difficult with that? I don't understand why people find that really difficult to comprehend. I actually think that people don't not understand it. I think that they do understand it, but they don't like to be called out for it because it's uncomfortable to say, oh, you know what I do to animals, it is a form of racism, it's speciesism, and I'm responsible for it, and that doesn't sit comfortable with me. But here's the good news, just go vegan and change, and you haven't got to have that hypocrisy in your life anymore.
It's so flipping easy. It's literally
you got
the
a question?
thing. Yeah, we got sent. George Dragon said you should have a debate with the manager of the slaughterhouse company.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
George, tell me about it. We ask all the time for them to come down and speak to us. We ask to go in. We ask for a response from certain things. This industry is absolutely airtight. It's silent the whole time. The reason why the industry is silent, George, is because when they open their mouth and they put any statements out, it literally, what's it called? Criminalizes them further. Mm-hmm. If they come out and tell you what they're actually doing, it just puts a rope around their own neck. This is why they're silent. They hope it's like the ostrich philosophy. They put their head in the ground and they hope that it's all just going to disappear. They hope that the marketing, they hope that the indoctrination and the conditioning that they've already put on people will just hopefully brush over whatever it is that we're trying to highlight, and it will all just go away. But the fact is, it won't go away. We won't go away. We're going to constantly be here the whole time the animals are being exploited, and we will defend them with everything we have until this injustice stops and finishes. We're not going away. For example, the ABP over in Guildford, the manager, there's been a huge FSA audit done there that we talked to the manager about, and I've asked numerous times for people to come down and talk to us. No one ever comes to talk. Why? Because they know what they do there is wrong.
How crazy is this? Kelly now thinks we're mental for sticking up for animals.
Well, Kelly, listen, you're a lost cause. We'll stop addressing Kelly. Kelly, you're unreachable. Yeah. You obviously don't have any compassion in your heart. You came in with some questions. You probably realised that to be morally consistent, you had to be vegan. It's made you feel uncomfortable, and now you're trying all of the ridiculous tantrum retaliations. So, Kelly, all I can say to you now, the last comment to Kelly is go and watch Dominion in the link in this description. Subscribe at 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe at 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan, be open-minded to this conversation. Subscribe at 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Please double tap the live stream.
Yeah, like the 4-year-old vegan said, eating baby animals is mental.
Yeah, absolutely. Oppressing animals is mental. Seeing animals as someone less than you is mental. Not looking into the eyes of an animal and seeing someone having a subjective experience is mental. Having to describe to someone what happens to them is mental. Having to say to someone, should we leave the chickens alone? Should we leave the cows alone? Should we leave the pigs alone? That seems mental, because to me it seems super obvious. The indoctrination and the conditioning makes us do these horrible things because that's where we're all brought up. But now we have the option to see the truth, and we should look at the truth, witness it, and then change.
We got Mackinac Egg famous, but is fishing vegan?
Is what?
Fishing vegan.
Absolutely not. You're pulling an individual out of their own environment by their face into an environment where they can't breathe. A lot of fish, when you throw them back, over 40% of fish, even when you throw them back, die, and they suffer from the wounds that you put on them and the stress that they go through during that catch to have a picture. Fishing is absolutely evil. Fish are sentient beings. They're having a subjective experience of their life. They have emotions. They have desires. They have the desire to live. So taking that away from them absolutely is unethical. It's immoral. Go and watch Dominion, go and watch Seaspiracy, go and see the reality for yourself. Why do we think because fish look different to us, it's okay and they don't feel pain? It's ridiculous. And what is it about fishing that you want? Because you don't need it. You don't need to do it. This is the thing. There's no necessity, so there's no justification. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe and 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to this conversation. Subscribe and 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Now, a lot of the things that people are asking us can be resolved if you go into the link in the description of this live stream. Go to the Linktree link and hit on the top documentary called Dominion. This is the one we want you to see. This is the one that every vegan watches and says, I wish that I saw that earlier. Watch it. It's an hour and a half of your life. It'll change your life, but most importantly, it'll change the lives of the animals that are being brought here today outside the slaughterhouse to die.
Someone just said in the chat, if it was wrong, wouldn't they all be arrested? Yeah, absolutely. So basically, moral crimes come first, and then when a small group of people stand up for something that is morally wrong, then legality comes later. It always catches up later on. So one day, you're right, the slaughterhouse workers, animal exploiters, animal farmers, experimentation, bullfighting, all these people will be put in prison for what they do to the animals, okay? But right now, it's a moral crime. Just like how once upon a time it was legal to own a slave and there was people standing up against that evil injustice of having humans as slaves. This is the animal slavery. And now the human slave is illegal and people go to prison for that. One day, the animal oppressors will go to prison as well. Please subscribe. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, comment and subscribe. All we've been hearing here today is cries from those poor cows inside this slaughterhouse. They're cows from the dairy industry. Cows do not just eat grass and produce milk. They only produce milk because they are mothers. They have had pregnancy forced upon them. They've had their baby taken away from them, and their babies, if they're born male, are sent to slaughter because they don't produce milk. They're not the same as the beef industry, and so they won't profit from them from that way. Or they'll fatten them up for 6 months in a box where they have no light because they want to tenderize their meat for veal. And then at 6 months old, they get sent to a slaughterhouse to be killed. Absolutely evil. How the hell can I be the same breed as someone who can willingly do that? Now, most people are number twos. Most people don't realize this happens, but when you know, you go vegan. Vegan is just a neutral position. You just don't pay for animal exploitation anymore. All the females in the dairy industry, if they give birth to a female, they get separated from their mother, put in an isolation booth where they cry for one another. Animals and cows are extremely maternal animals. If anyone on here is a parent, imagine having your child taken away from you and you'll never see them again. Never see them again, okay? Then when she is sexually mature enough, she then gets put into the cattle crush where the farmer performs bestiality upon her, forces himself inside of her, injects her with bull semen, makes her pregnant. And then when they can no longer stand up and produce milk or babies, they get sent to a slaughterhouse to be killed, just like the one behind me.
Michelle thinks you can't feed 8.3 billion people with just plants.
Okay, then how the hell are we feeding 2 trillion animals with plants? Okay? Just have a look, just understand. Like, none of these questions come into my head when I saw inside of a slaughterhouse. I didn't care if I was going to be malnourished. I didn't know where protein came from. I didn't know there was gas chambers. I didn't say avocados though. I saw the injustice. I was so saddened, and then I was angry, and I was like, why has everyone been lying to me? Why is these industries allowed to lie to me, to convince me that I'm a human to drink baby cow milk? Cow's milk is for baby cows. Why am I drinking the period of a chicken? That's disgusting. Why am I eating the flesh like a zombie from animals? Why am I paying for leather shoes, the skin of animals on my feet? Who the hell do I think I am? Some sort of superiority complex that humans have. I don't have that. That's why I'm vegan.
Tom's put a great comment here. People in this chat getting mad at you for holding up the mirror to them.
Yeah.
You're challenging something that they knew and did their whole life, so they can't stand it.
Yeah,
absolutely, Tom.
That's literally it. Some people react and go, yeah, you know what? You're right. Like, yeah, I didn't know this, and it's not your fault that you don't know this. But then you go and have a look and you change. Other people have tantrums and they throw their toys out their pram. And then later on, they might be like, yeah, you know what, yeah, you're all right. Please subscribe. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, comment, please subscribe.
Is veganism just a diet?
No, absolutely not. Veganism is the ethical principle that you live without exploiting animals, okay? So we don't use them, we don't see them as commodities, we don't ride them, we don't bet on them, we don't use them for bullfighting or for my shoes or makeup or anything. They should have a right to their own life. We should never be able to take someone's life and use them against their will, or take their babies, make them pregnant, and see them as machines. Veganism is the ethical stance against that.
Rosalind and Hukia, sorry, I probably pronounced that wrong, I'm a vegetarian and I believe vegans is going too far. I believe you should not kill animals, but you can still eat milk products.
Okay, if you're vegetarian, you do kill animals. Now, it's not your fault you don't know this. Now, I would say that veganism is just someone who doesn't hurt anyone, okay? Vegetarians, you're on the side of the oppressor. You still pay for the meat industry, the egg industry, the dairy industry, and you still go to zoos with a vegetarian lunch. You still are paying for the exploitation, kidnap, abuse, and murder of animals. But you may not realize, did you know in the dairy industry, cows don't just eat grass and produce milk, they produce milk because they're mothers. They basically force this cow into a cattle crush. That's basically a big contraption that goes around them. They can't exit, their head's like this, they can't get out, but the farmer has access to her back end. He then puts his whole entire arm inside of her and then puts a metal rod inside of her to make her pregnant. She then carries her baby for 9 months. After 9 months of pregnancy, if she gives birth to her baby is kidnapped from her. They're stolen from her, where she cries and bellows for her baby. We've seen it personally. Let me explain more in just a second. Please first subscribe. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, keep liking this live, subscribe, and please keep asking questions. Okay, if she gives birth to a male, the males are taken away and killed because they don't produce milk. If she gives birth to a female, they're taken away and put in isolation hutches away from the mother on the farm. They cry out for each other. When that female is sexually mature enough, she then gets put into the cattle crush and has pregnancy forced upon her and goes through that same cycle. So then she is then intensively milked. They often get things like mastitis, which are infections. And then when she can no longer stand up or produce milk or a baby anymore, she's taken to a slaughterhouse behind me. Stay on the live stream. You'll see dairy cows going inside this place today. They should live 27 years old, but they get sent here around 3 to 4 years old on average. 20% of the cows as well go to the slaughterhouse pregnant, okay?
The pancake book, yeah, it's kind of sad, but humans need them. The proteins, etc. It's the damn cycle of life. What do you think happens after humans die down in the dirt? We get eaten too. I'm not a radical American.
You are radical if you're not vegan, but you might not realise, because from your statement, I can see that you don't understand this in the slightest. That's not your fault. So please go watch Dominion in the link in the description. See for yourself what happens when you say, "Oh, we die and get eaten," but you're not murdered, are you? You're not murdered. These animals are murdered against their will.
Michael Pagel put artificial insemination is actually safer than natural mating. What would happen in the wild? They would get pregnant every time.
Are you joking me? You think they call it artificial insemination rather than the word that it actually is, which is grape without the G, okay? Just because the victim it looks different doesn't mean the act is any different, okay? And they always say this kind of stuff to propagate to you. That's obviously an animal farmer who's trying to propagate to you to keep your business, because they don't want you going vegan. They want your money, okay? Vegans are people who stand up for animals, and advocates stand up for animals against this propaganda. So many of the animals are killed during this artificial insemination process, and also in the wild, it's down to them, right? You're not interfering. 90 billion land animals are forced into existence, okay? That's more than any humans have ever existed on the planet.
Swan thinks this is pre-recorded. This is not pre-recorded. It's the 28th of the 8th, and it is 10 past 10.
And they're coming in now.
There's a truckload of animals turning up. Keep an eye, we're too obvious on the security that time. These are victims of non-vegans.
Why is it not working? Why is it not working?
Oh, you poor angels. Hey, babies.
Hi, babies.
Oh, you dear.
I know, baby. I see you.
I'm so
I
sorry.
see you. I see you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Real life victims. Dairy cows. Dairy cows. From the dairy industry. So that person who said that they don't get killed for cow's milk, you've just seen them now with yourself, with your own eyes. Look at them in there. Let me show you. Let me show you.
Oh,
they're
man.
now inside this place, and they're going to be stabbed in the throat today.
It's heartbreaking. Them cries of mercy breaks your heart every time. No matter how many times you come to a slaughterhouse, that never gets easier to hear. It hurts every single time.
My heart races because I'm just so...
Mel's just getting the camera ready to show everybody. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat. If you're not vegan but you're open-minded to these conversations, subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. These are the animals who are just on that trailer, just going inside the slaughterhouse live, here today to die. These animals have the same desire to live as you. They have the same ability to feel pain and suffer as you do. They have emotions, they have families. Did you know that cows have best friends?
They were so inquisitive. She was really sniffing. Tried to get it in the back as well. I'm not sure if you can see. Let me go back to the beginning.
Dark. Go back to the beginning.
Look at her. She's got like a heart on her head.
Can you move it up?
These are dairy cows in the dairy industry. You can tell because they are so thin. They've been malnourished. They have everything taken away from them. They've had baby after baby taken away from them. They've been intensively milked. Okay, they've been genetically modified to have huge udders. They can barely walk with those poor udders that they have, and then now they're basically now classed as disposable because they can't produce enough milk. They probably can't stand up anymore, and they're like, yeah, they're waste now. They're waste now.
They're victims of vegetarians.
Let's get the sign back. Yeah, so they're your victims if you're vegetarian. Being vegan is the baseline. You're neutral. You're being neutral, okay? You're just in the middle. You're just a normal person who doesn't hurt anybody. Did you want to switch in?
No, keep going. I've only got another minute left.
Thought that was another truck coming in. Let me explain the egg industry as well for the person who said about being a vegetarian. In the egg industry, basically it all starts out of parent breeder shed, okay? It all starts out of parent breeder shed when they fertilise the eggs, okay? These eggs are not the same as the eggs that are in the supermarket. These eggs are the way they get the egg laying hens. They all get then taken to a hatchery, okay, where they sex them between male and female. The males don't produce eggs, so they get sent to a blender, an open blender alive on day one of life. The females, this looks like a truck.
Quick. Don't draw attention to the security. Go. Oh my gosh, it's so high.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, babies. I'm so sorry.
We're here.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. These are your victims if you're not vegan.
My God.
These are your victims if you're not vegan.
That truck is huge.
They're your victims if you are not vegan. Another truckload of animals going inside this place today.
That truck is huge. Absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking.
More dairy cows in there. More dairy cows. Oh my God, that truck was so big. I don't think you'll be able to see it on the camera because it's so large and it's really dark inside there. You can see that all the slats on the side are still up because they don't want us to see the animals, because when you see the animals, you go vegan. When you see the animals, you change on the spot. In the egg industry, let me explain more. So when the egg laying hens go off to the barns, 15,000 to 30,000 could be in a big barn. They'll call that free range, by the way. And then they all get sent to a slaughterhouse around 18 months old. Majority of the time, it's a gas chamber.
Go to the camera.
Just so you know, I don't know why, but usually I push that and it records. You have to push that and then push the top today.
What, it's not recording if you just hit the top? Let me just check. No, it's fine.
All right.
Just hit the top and it's fine. Guys, subscribe for one in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe for two in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to the conversation, subscribe, put three in the chat if you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream, please like, share, subscribe, please hit the top three dots in the top right hand corner and go into the description of this live stream, and please watch the Linktree link that says to Dominion. It will show you exactly what's going to happen to them animals once they go inside the facility that we're stood outside the front of right now. You just seen two trailers come past with individuals on it that did not want to die. Them individuals are having a subjective experience of their life. They are someone, they have friends, they have families, they have the desire to live, they have the ability to feel pain, they have emotion. Everything is going to be taken from them today for what? An optional product like a burger, like a block of cheese, like a yogurt, like a milk bar of chocolate. It's absolutely ridiculous that we are ending animals' lives in the name of profit and taste and convenience. It's ridiculous. If any one of you listening to this live stream right now was the victim at the end of any of that injustice, you would never, ever, ever justify it with, I like the taste, it's what we've always done, ancestors, crop deaths, plants feel pain, and all the other nonsense that comes in that chat stream. Please, we're asking you today on behalf of the animals, please go and watch Dominion. Please witness what they will have to go through today. For the animals who've come past us today, it's too late. They've gone inside of a slaughterhouse and there's nothing that we can do to get them out of there. I don't understand it. I don't know why, but people here today think that it's absolutely acceptable and okay for these animals to go in there to die. Our own species just leave the morals at the edge of the gate and just do nothing to defend them. In fact, there are people in there today that think this is absolutely acceptable to just take them animals in, walk them onto the kill floor and stab them to death, chop their body parts up, put them in the freezer and send them off to a supermarket. I can't get my head around it, and I don't understand why this industry is so difficult to get across to people that it's a supply and demand industry that you can affect directly by going vegan. The only reason why this industry perpetuates its violence is because people are indoctrinated and conditioned to paying for it. Please listen to what we're saying, and please realize that by going vegan and removing your support, removing your money, propping up these industries, it takes animals out, it ends this injustice, it ends this violence. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan and you've already done that. Subscribe and put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan yet but you're open-minded to why we're here. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Please double tap the live stream. Let's get over 100 likes in this live stream within the first hour, and please share this on your socials. We're here today to defend animals. We're not here to cause alarm, harassment, distress or any form of intimidation. We're not here to clash with non-vegans. We're here to come alongside you and tell you the truth of these industries that they don't want you to know. Yeah?
Yeah, vegan Kaz is right. She put, basically, if you're not vegan, you're teaching your kids to be bullies.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really important thing, right? If you think back to when you were a child, look at any child around an animal. Any child will run up to an animal and they want to pet the animal, feed the animal, care the animal. They want to be there for them. They love them. We then take them and then we rip all of that conditioning away from them. And then when you go vegan, all you're simply doing is you're going back to your roots and you're going back to being that kind, compassionate person that you once was. Is that?
I don't know what that is. Yeah, that's a truck.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my God.
Jesus, fuck. He's driving too fast, that's dangerous. You have to have a word with him. You have to have a word with him. I'll go in there then, shall I go in there? You gotta have a word with him. You can't drive that fast, it's dangerous. This is still the public highway and there's still a responsibility. There, listen to what I'm saying. Over there is the public highway. So there's a duty of care. There's a duty of care to not drive like an arsehole and run people over. And you have to go and speak to him and say, you need to slow down. That's what I'm saying. He needs to slow down. He shouldn't be driving like that. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Why do they drive like that? Because they don't want you to see the animals. They don't want the reality and the truth coming out. Because when good people see what happens to animals, they go vegan and then they lose their profit margins. Absolutely ridiculous that this industry hides this from the public and keeps animals inside slaughterhouses. That person was driving so fast. He sped it. Do you see how fast he was going?
Yeah,
He run me over there.
Really fast, really fast.
Absolutely ridiculous.
They literally don't care. These people are unhinged. The amount of times
We're gonna have to get it on the laptop at home.
Yeah, the amount of times they've driven at us and tried to run us over on purpose. He sped up when he saw we had cameras.
Yeah.
And now sat inside there. These security have a duty
Make
of
note
care.
of this. Make note. They rush in and then they wait. They rush animals in and then they wait. This is the transparent industry. This is the industry that prides itself on being humane and ethical. This is the industry that prides itself on being the best of the world, best of British standards. They're rushing animals in, they're hiding them in slaughterhouses, and they're executing them behind closed doors where the public never get a chance to know the truth. The public never get a chance to see the reality. The animals always remain hidden. They always remain the victims. Don't be a part of this industry. Don't prop up this violence towards these animals. Be vegan. Remove your support for the industry that's violent towards the most childlike, innocent individuals in this world. These animals do not deserve to die today. There's no necessity, there's no justification. This needs to end, and it can end. This is the biggest injustice the world has ever seen, and you can have a direct impact on it right this second by going vegan. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan already. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Please like, share, subscribe. Go into the description and watch Dominion in that Linktree link. Let me just tell you some truths about the industry industry that they don't want you to know. 20% of dairy cows go to slaughterhouses pregnant. They kill the babies on the kill floor by cutting them out of the mother and letting them suffocate on the kill floor. Pigs at 6 months old go inside CO2 gas chambers where they burn from the inside out. Chickens in the egg industry go in gas chambers at 18 months old where they burn from the inside out. Chickens from the meat industry are 42 days old, 6 weeks old when they die. Their legs break, their organs, they fail, their heart gives up because they're grown to the size of an adult's body within 66 weeks, 42 days. And the reason being is because it's quicker turnover, it's more profit for the farmer, more profit for the industry. Sheep go to the slaughterhouse because they can't produce enough wool anymore. When they can't produce enough wool, they waste products and they're viewed as a commodity that gets executed. They cut the sheep's tails off, they band them, they do mutilation on them called mulesing, where they slice the back of their legs to stop them getting fly strike because they grow so many sheep. They're selectively bred and they're genetically modified to produce all this wool. They can't care for them on a one-to-one basis. Because there's so many of them, it's just easier to slash the backs of their legs so they don't grow wool there and to cut their tails off. They cut the teeth off of tiny little piglets and cut their tails off with side clippers because when pigs go into the growing pens, it's so intense for them in there that they cannibalize each other. They just go mental and start eating and chewing each other. This is the reality of the industries that you prop up when you're not vegan.